The world is in convulsion, and so are we. The rise of reactive forces everywhere, violence and barbarity. The takeover of worldwide power by the capitalist system in its new version, financialized, neoliberal, its globalitarian realization. A high degree of perverse refinement, narrow-minded archaism, new conservatisms, symptoms coexisting in our contemporaneity. The traumatic memory of the 20th century revolutions, situations before which we either succumb or widen the horizon of our gaze, which gives us more precision in deciphering the violence and inventing ways of fighting it.
All we ever wanted was more. When everyone finally stopped to look up and watch the building overflow with stuff, it was already 1 p.m. and hundreds of trains had already ran up and down, back and forth in time, to bring new folks to the city's heart. Overflowing from all windows, tables, chairs, pillows, cushions, cutlery, little shape cutters to shape-shift dough into tiny sugary biscuits that lines and lines of the cafe would pay $12 for a pack of 5. Knives, saws, pistols, forks and spoons, huge spoons that were finally big enough to fit in one scoop all those million mouths chewing as if carnivorous plants growing over the cityscape. Pantry items pitted by that building's 100 mouths. Vases of plastic plants and piggy banks made of plastic to keep the pennies safer. Bottles of wine, bottles of ketchup, bags of spices, pickle jars, and cans of fruit. 1 million cans, delivered by millions of industrial parks for a constellation of buildings, now splashing fizzy dyed water, smashing can by can into the ground, but also into a man's skull when he went too close for a free can of cherry bubbly. Bed frames, sinks, washing machines, and bowls of cereal catapulted into the neighborhood when a girl no older than 9 said, "I would prefer the food to go bad before any homeless eats it." And her mother said, "God has the answer." At 6 p.m., when all cell phones were tuned into Channel 12 for the city news, the journalist said, "Now live, it's reality happening." And the woman wearing a suit, being interviewed on the street, said, "How sad, a life overflowing with stuff." While the other woman wearing a suit replied, "Isn't reality tragic?" Then folks at home, resting their feet from walking around, helpless, felt they were safer by living less. And before going to sleep, children, adults, and elders felt something tickling in their chests, wanting to overflow as well, but took 2 pills instead, one to lose weight and one to forget. Snoring their way to dream, the alarm was already set for 6 a.m., when another delirious fact would tune all minds into the next stream.
This is the sphere that shapes the world: colonial capitalism. A certain dominant politics of subjectivation, a politics of desire, in short, the neutralization of micropolitical resistance, the challenges of the present, repeated frustrations. The challenges of the present, repeated frustrations. The challenges of the present, repeated frustrations. Repeated frustrations. Repeated frustrations.
Repeated frustration. The challenges of repeated frustration. Repeated frustration. Repeated frustration. Repeated frustration. Repeated frustrations. Repeated frustrations. Repeated frustrations.
The abuse of our vital force. What distinguishes the colonial capitalist system is the abuse of life, cancelling our force of creation and transmutation, cancelling our greater goal, cancelling our ethical destiny. The vital force of the entire biosphere is expropriated and corrupted by that system. The land, the air, water, sky, plants, animals, and the human species. The effect is a disempowerment of life. This regime feeds off our very impulse to create new forms of existence and cooperation, the power of germinating new modes of existence. The purposes of the dominant regime is the accumulation of economic, political, cultural, and narcissistic capital. I propose the name colonial capitalistic unconscious for their imagination and representation repertoires, a cartography of bodies producing new scenarios for the accumulation of capital. The illusion of belonging, a placebo for our fears.
The illusion of belonging, a placebo. The illusion of belonging, a placebo. The illusion of belonging, a placebo. The illusion of belonging, a placebo for our fears.
The illusion of belonging, a placebo for our fears. We must abandon our colonial capitalist characters and their politics of desire to make the scene itself impracticable.
Astronauts report it feels good. T minus 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Only using art for political actions, poetic actions, or actions from grief.
expecting bright things only from bright souls, stacking up as many books on shelves as you can, but only stacking them up after reading them, avoiding contemporary art shows, avoiding any kind of market, even the art market, even though your tutor once said you wouldn't have to. Only hanging out with radically realist people and counteracting the radically realist realism of radically realist people just for the fun of doing so. Edifying strangers before the world puts them through it. Starting rebellions where free spirit reigns. Openly speaking about the obscure maneuvers on the daily printed system, this hypocritical version of reality, this scam. Knowing that God's world is closely watching, knowing that God's world was never closely watching, that the church was also mythical, that the Middle Age was an unfinished project that somehow still resonates here in presence, that the shameful and stingy upper social class still monopolizes power and harasses mainly the weak ones, we the weak ones, knowing that there were totalitarian kingdoms which terror is unspeakable, made by the scientists who gave us history, that there are events in which words do not matter, identities words will never describe, body sensations, this void, this absence. Knowing the Bolshevik had an end, that literary romanticism had an end, that the secret projects of avant-garde cinema had an end, that cruel tortures still torture everywhere around, but our eyes are now number because we are watching ourselves closer. Who taught us this everlasting wish of confession? That screaming is sometimes necessary even if only as performance, and mostly as performance. That poems won't do much more than contaminating, but contagious thoughts are now necessary. Knowing that every end is near, knowing how to difference an end from an end, knowing when something comes to an end, knowing about ends within ends, knowing when something comes to an end.